In this question, we have a figure that we've been given, and we're going to transform this shape by shifting every point up 2 units, and then draw the resulting image. So I'm going to actually to draw that on this grid here. And just as a reminder, I certainly am not going to say this every single time, but if you want to actually do these questions to save you from having to draw this all out yourself, you could just print this one cell. You could work on that piece of paper and then you could recycle it. I'm going to introduce a whole bunch of jargon here that's going to be important. We're going to be using it a lot. So what we could think of this thing being right now is our pre-image. It's what we're working on, and once we've done that work, what we want to end up with is the resulting image. And we're going to do that by some kind of a transformation. And in this case, all we're going to do is shift the object. We're moving it up. We're not deforming it, we're not stretching it. So if all we do is move the object without changing its size, that particular kind of transformation is called a translation. Another thing that I can mention in terms of all this jargon, all these words that are going to come up in our study, and it's just nice to have these words because then we're sharing a vocabulary, we can talk about these things and you know what I'm talking about. In order to shift this up, and if you think about it, some people might think, yeah, well, we're going to have to shift every single point, so I'm going to have to plot a whole bunch of points along here, who knows how many I'm going to have to plot. And some of you are already thinking, well, wait a second, that's not true. Why would you do that? That's crazy. You would just plot a few of the key points. And once we know where the key points go, then we can connect things up between them. And that's because we have an intuitive understanding that if I shift every point up 2 units, so let's actually just do that. I'm just going to quickly do that now. So it's very simple to do. That's where A will go to this point, and I might as well introduce one more thing. Often if we have a transformation, the transformed points are designated with primes. So we go from A to A primed, B to B primed, C to C primed, D to D primed, and E to E primed. I can't think of anyone who would really not have an intuitive understanding that if we know where A, B, C, D, and E are in the pre-image, and we know where A prime, B prime, C prime, D primed are in the image, that we can come up with the answer. We know what the thing is going to look like by just connecting up the points. We know that nothing, and I'm not doing it perfectly here, I apologize, I'm doing this really fast. But we know, for example, that nothing strange or wacky is going to happen between D primed and E primed. We go straight from D to E in a horizontal line. We'll go from D primed to E primed in a horizontal line. So there's our transformed image. Let me quickly go over all of this jargon. So the pre-image is what we start with. The image is what we end up with. So if I talk about a pre-image and an image, hopefully you'll know now what that is. A transformation is something that changes a shape in some defined way. All we're doing is moving this object up. There's a special name given to that kind of transformation. It's a translation, where all we do is shift it. We do not stretch it. We don't stretch it or compress it in any way. All we're doing is shifting it up, down, left, or right. And finally, the key points on a graph are significant points that are easy to recognize visually. And those are significant points that we can move, and once we've moved those, we connect them up to get the resulting image. Rather than having to plot a whole bunch of points, we just look at what the key points do and know as go the key points, so go all the rest of the points on the object.